and it looks like we are live.
Okay.
So yeah, as we were just kind of chatting, this is the internet's best produced podcast, and basically it's me getting to know people, getting to know kind of the ins and outs of the industry and what they're struggling with and what they've done really well at as their business owners or have worked in the industry. So maybe you can just start off by telling us your name, what you do, and where you're located.
Okay, so I'm Corey McAllister from Brown's Paving. We're located in Sussex, New Brunswick. We've been here since 1957. So we've been here for a little while. It's third generation company. It'd be my grandfather that started the company. My uncle
Oh
is
wow.
still here. He's quite active, still active in the company. So there was we're located between three cities, so we're kind of unique in, we don't serve a huge amount of people, but it's kind of the way it's positioned between the three cities. It's kind of a unique place to be because it's fairly, we got a decent economy here with the three cities, people kind of coming and going between them. So we're kind of in a pretty good location. So.
Yeah, yeah. And for those listening, you're only located like an hour from me, or hour and a half
Yeah,
away from me, which is
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
crazy. And I think you saw my post on like one of the big paving sites, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah, on
Yeah,
Paving Nation. Yeah.
yeah, which is awesome. So I just joined all those groups because I'm looking to eventually work in the paving niche and help contractors get leads and all that. So I'm trying to
Right.
learn a little bit more, and that's kind of how this podcast was born. It was just me. I've done construction and that sort of thing, concrete work, but I've never done anything in the paving world. So this was a
Right.
way for me to kind of get to know a little bit about it while kind of getting to know business owners and kind of getting them some exposure and putting them out there. So,
Right.
but no, I wanted to touch on the fact that we're not that far away from each other.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So,
interesting, especially touching people all over North America. It's kind of neat. So,
yeah, I was just talking. I think one of the last ones I did was the guy in Sacramento,
yeah.
California, which was
Yeah.
neat. So yeah. So I mean, I've been following your guys' Facebook page for a little while actually. I think since sometime last year. But tell me a bit about what you do. I didn't realize you served the three cities. I was kind of looking on your website there a little bit, and it seems like you do a bit of everything. But talk to me a bit about how that works as far as travel and what sort of jobs you're doing.
Yeah. So Fredericton's probably our place that we don't go as much just because it's one of the further ones.
Yeah,
We get halfway there through cottage country, through the lakes there and whatnot. And this core of the city, St. John and Moncton in the core, we don't do a lot of work right in the core. We kind of stay on our end of the outskirts of it. It's fairly competitive in the cities, but we have a bit of an advantage on the outskirts where it's easy to get in, easy kind of access to it or whatnot. Fredericton's a little bit far for us.
yeah,
Um, and some of our customer base from here have certain places, businesses, whatnot. So you kind of have a connection through that as well from a region standpoint. So.
sure. I mean, you're saying it's third generation, so you obviously have a good, strong referral base
Yes.
that goes back. Has it always been paving? Like, did it start out as paving?
Yeah, it always was paving. So, and we've had an asphalt plant. It's kind of a strange. Some of the people that you'll speak to, we're a low volume contractor in with respect to some of the people who are in this business, but we because of our location, we're a ways from the city, so we ended up with an asphalt plant here just because there was a need for one here. So we're not a huge producer by any means, but if we were in the city, if we were in a large urban area, even larger than our cities, if we were in some of the larger cities like Toronto or Montreal, we wouldn't even have an asphalt plant because takes such a volume to support that in those places. But in the rural parts of this part of the country, it's a lower volume can constitute it, and especially where we're located. But we've had one here since we started. So
Interesting. So do you guys just supply yourselves, or do you supply anybody else with asphalt?
some of the municipalities
Okay.
purchase from us.
Yep.
The DOT, I guess, DTI would purchase some for patch paving on the roads and whatnot.
Yeah, just depending on where the job is and how far it is to drive to you or to someone else.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't do any highway paving. Besides repairs, we have done some repairs on 4-lane before for some of the P3. We don't do any major highway work or class 2 roads, anything like that. It's a little bit different equipment. Just bigger equipment, different equipment.
Yeah.
And different game altogether. So we're kind of in our market, and we kind of stay in our own lane. And we do, you're right, you said we do a little bit of everything. It's kind of funny. Yeah, we do stuff that we're not residential based, but we are. We're very customer based, customer focused. So it always ends up leading us to the residential side. But really, I would say we're residential commercial style. We do quite a bit of industrial work at some of the bigger places.
So like parking lots and loading pads and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. And we do some niche stuff like stamped asphalt. We do stamped paving. So not stamped concrete, stamped
How does that work?
So it's 2 ways you can do it, as long as when the pavement's warm, or you can reheat. We do it sometimes when it's warm. If it's a small job, we'll do it when it's warm. You put a cable down in a pattern, like a print. You put it down in after you roll it. You put this down while it's still hot. You roll that imprint down. We have different prints for it.
Yep.
Different styles of prints. And when you take the print up, it looks like a brick pattern. And
cool.
And then we put a coating over top, an epoxy coating for wear, and we have multiple colors of that. So
that's got to be so the epoxy goes in the grooves basically.
Yeah, and it'll adhere. It adheres very well, and it wears. It's like a cementous base product, so it has a great wear.
Wow. Well, yeah, I didn't know. I did one stamped concrete job because most of the concrete I did was like barn floors and stuff.
Right.
But I'd never heard of stamped asphalt. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what would be the application for that? Would that be purely residential or? Yeah,
we do some. They push. There's some commercial. We've done some work in Halifax for Halifax municipality. We've done a couple jobs down there. Crosswalks would be.
Sure.
Crosswalks are popular.
Because often those are like concrete. And so having the same material would probably be beneficial. Yeah.
So what they do is it kind of defines when they do a crosswalk across a paved street, it kind of will define it as kind of a little bit more eye-catching for safety's sake.
Yeah.
But a lot of walkways and patios so a lot of front walkways that a lot of houses now, there's a garage and there's a walk that goes to the front door. And when we're there, it's very cost effective to pull that out, put a paved walk in with and accent the walkway. And
so how many would you do per year? Like, is it a fairly common thing?
I'd say not really, probably 30, probably 30 to, I'd say 40 would be a stretch, but probably 30.
That's really interesting. No, I'd never heard of that. So, I mean, that's the whole point of this is for me to learn about different things. So I guess kind of pivoting back around to the commercial residential part of the business, you said you're into industrial work and that sort of thing, but what rough percentages, what would be your residential versus commercial or industrial?
I would say probably half. I'd say probably half residential, a little bit less, maybe 40% residential and 60% probably commercial.
Okay. So
we do a lot of repairs as well. We do a fair bit of patching.
Yep.
Which we're a smaller company, so sometimes that ends up in the smaller company's lap just because we have the the manpower, and
More
we don't,
flexible.
yeah, we just don't do larger stuff. So it kind of ends up landing in our lap. So.
So would I mean, do you guys like patching? Is it still cost effective for you, or?
Yes, it's hard work, and it's, it's so hands on, and
Yeah.
there's just no easy way to do it.
Because it's not just running behind the paver.
That's right. Yeah. So we have quite a mix. So people, I mean, if you were doing it all the time, you would probably have people wouldn't say they would enjoy it as much as mixing it up a little bit, as long as you're doing a little bit of stuff to kind of go with it. But it's fairly labor intensive, so it takes it takes a few more guys to do it. And
Sure,
yeah.
absolutely. So what I mean, what sort of things do you struggle with as far as getting customers? Is that a struggle of yours? What are you doing right now to get customers? I'm always interested to hear what people's methods of acquisition are.
So we do a lot. Like, a lot of ours is word of mouth, but we do Facebook advertising,
Yep.
and we try to maintain a presence, just kind of through all the, not through all the platform, but through those platforms, but as well as community presence.
Yeah, because I think I've seen your signs around too, like on telephone poles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some of that, and we've been doing some informational videos. We've been doing them for a couple of years. Last year, we kind of ramped it up a little bit more, kind of a professionalism to it. We spent a little bit more on the quality of the video of
Nice.
What we're doing.
Yeah, I saw some there, your cold patches, and you're doing I just scrolled a little bit down your Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been doing that. That's been fairly successful, with just kind of keeping people informed of what we're doing and keeping our customers informed. And we have a customer base that's a lot of repeat customers as well. So
Sure.
Which seems strange in a residential type of setting. It seems strange, but it
surprises you, I guess. Eh?
It surprises you, yeah. So people and it's funny with a fly-by-night paving company that go in and pave a driveway and say, well, we won't see them people again. We don't have to. I mean, it's amazing how many repeat customers that we have. If people turn over their houses or renovate houses, move to another house. Yeah, it's
so amazing. They call on you as the go-to one, basically, when they show up at the new place.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get that ties really well into the next question, which is basically, say a customer had a choice of 3 companies that do similar stuff to you. What would kind of set you guys apart?
Well, to be honest, we're probably more expensive.
Okay.
We're probably more expensive. Customer service probably, and knowing that we've been here is probably the bigger thing. So
been here as in, like, you've been around and people are still buying from you, basically.
Yeah. So the longevity of it kind of helps on that part of it.
Yeah.
And there's some people that buy based on price, and we're probably not for them.
Sure.
And there's some people that there's the other customers who we all think we buy on price, but in really action, there's very little people who actually do buy on price.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's there, but it's usually not our driving force. So yeah, and then timing, we're usually able to. It kind of ebbs and flows with busyness. Sometimes we're a little bit behind, but for the most part, we're if somebody wants something done, we can get it done.
Yeah. What would be the lead time? Would it be like we'd be looking at like a week or 2 weeks?
Yeah, a week to 2 weeks is what we try to. I mean, 3 weeks is nice, but sometimes the 3 weeks is nice for us to have that much work ahead. And usually, we try to say 2 weeks, because if you're getting a quote done halfway through a week, and then if you say 2 weeks, it's 2 weeks after that. So I mean, basically 2 to 3 weeks. And if somebody needs something done, I mean, sometimes there's emergencies obviously that pop up, and especially when the type of work we do with patching and with that type of work, there's emergencies that pop up that just
Have
they
to be
just come
done.
in. Yeah, they just fill in. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
No, that makes sense. If you guys were a little bit closer, I might actually call on you. We may need to repave our driveway at some point here.
Right.
Yeah. So whenever you're up in the area,
Yeah.
it'll probably be a couple of years out, but it
Yeah.
definitely it's got a big section that basically I think they put a new culvert in at one point,
Right.
to go to the storm sewer, and then it's basically just like sunk in.
Yeah.
So, but no, that's interesting. So I mean, with all this craziness that's going on with COVID and everything, I'm sure that's affecting you in some way. But what would you say aside from that is the biggest challenge running a business in 2019 or 2020?
Well, that's a good question. I should have had these questions already.
No, it's fine. I like there's no right answer. It's just like what kind of things are you guys thinking about and kind of planning and figuring out ways around or new methods of doing things? Or
well, we always are trying to we try to keep very current with our equipment.
Yeah.
With I don't necessarily mean only new. I mean, we have a mix of some really old stuff and some brand new stuff. So, but current in the fact of current technologies and current of what's going on in the marketplace.
Yeah.
So we've always been successful with that, just trying to stay ahead of the curve on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then with people, we try to keep our people up to date and keep them trained on what the latest, what's new and what's
the status quo, basically.
Yeah, that's right. So, and we have a great return of people. We don't have a great turnover of people. So we have the same people that always come back, and so that's not
awesome.
The business either. So
yeah, I was looking on your site, and I think there was some people that've been there 25 years.
Yeah,
there's
there's one guy here he's 69 and he's been here since he was 18. So
wow,
that's a long time.
That's a few years.
Yeah,
just a couple. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
very cool. No, I'll just kind of go through. I took a couple notes here, but I'll just make sure I ask you kind of the biggest things. What like going forward, like the next couple 5 years, or even 1 year, what kind of goals are you guys setting to either expand or just maintain, or what sort of goals are you setting in that regard?
Yeah, we don't set necessarily our growth goals are not based on I've never based our growth goals on revenues.
Yep.
It's just a dangerous game, especially in this. Like we can grow revenues all we want, but it don't mean your
profit
maintaining your profits. So especially with the demographic where we're at, with there's a certain amount of people here, there's a certain amount of size, and we've just put so much emphasis on the growing that we do, and what we have done is growing with the people that are here. So as we attract the more talent that comes through the door is what we will grow in our revenues, and we've done that right along.
So basically building a team that will then produce results that will just kind of happen organically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've walked away from opportunities because we didn't have the team in place necessarily at the time to do it, that you look back that we would have done that if we had those people now. So it's just constantly building those people. And
that's interesting. I like that perspective, because I mean, for most people, it is kind of monetary goals, and those definitely have their place. But that's a really interesting perspective.
Yeah, and we try to measure those. I mean, obviously we measure them, but we don't set our goals aren't set based on those. So.
Right. No, that makes sense. And I mean, I kind of skipped over this, but how is the virus affecting you guys right now? I think we might have been chatting about it in the over Messenger, but maybe just catch me up on that.
So, well, I think the bigger problem that we're going to be faced with over the next little bit, I mean, people are cooped up,
Yeah,
and people are getting crazy. They're getting, I mean, just it's not good. I mean, people
yeah,
they're looking out the window, watching their neighbors saying, well, he's walking too close, and what's that person doing over there? And you went for groceries too many times this week. And
exactly.
so I think that's going to rectify itself when the sun comes out and people feel a little bit better about, how things are, whatever. And we're getting a little bit of hope right now. Today they're getting some better numbers in New York and better numbers in Italy and whatnot.
Yeah,
So there's some hope there. But for us, what's everybody, the buzzword has been social distancing, but really the buzzword that people need to be talking about is social pressure. So what's happening right now is so much social pressure. Even though somebody might not believe that they should do things a certain way, they are pressured into that from
gotcha.
from the social
Peer
aspect,
pressure.
peer pressure of what's
Yeah,
going on. So I think, and even on our page or the Facebook page, the Paving Nation, and some of the Asphalt pages, people are feeling it as well. People are home,
yeah,
and there's people paving. Like obviously they're paving down further south in the States. They're
yeah,
paving,
yeah.
and people are not happy. They're looking
Some
at
people
the
are calling them out.
Yeah, they're calling them out on it. So we're trying to be responsible, respectful, but yet at the same time try to adhere to what they want, the rules, and maintain the safety. There's not a big, we haven't started yet. So we're not faced with that. We're really, today's the 7th. So we're really a strong month out from actually turning the switch when we go full time.
Sure.
So that's a big advantage to us. So we don't have to get into that. We're hoping that it's going to affect us. There's no question about it. We're hoping that it will lessen the blow a little bit.
Yeah.
For us going out, pricing and doing measuring driveways and stuff, or measuring stuff that people wouldn't deem essential is going to be a little bit strange over the next month.
You got to be careful about.
You have to be careful because you don't want. We don't. Yeah, we're connected so close to the community, and we're respected by the community. We don't want to upset people in the community by doing that. And that will be the challenge for a lot of paving companies right now. For a lot of contractors.
Sure. Sure. No, and I mean that actually touches on something I didn't even think about. Not to kind of pull us away from that, but what's kind of your way of keeping business going in the winter?
In the winter, we do snow plowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does the whole crew kind of turn over to that, or?
No, there's just a handful of people. Like we have there's 7 here full time in the winters we do repairs, we paint, as if you've seen the Facebook page.
Yeah.
We do all our own in-house repairs, and we do we try to paint a couple of trucks or a couple of pieces of equipment over the winter.
Yeah. And
and then by the time, I mean, it's only 3 months of kind of that off season till we're back into, well, they say there's only 2 seasons, paving and then getting ready to pave. So that's basically where we're at right now. So.
Well, for us, it's winter, spring, and construction. So
yeah, that's right.
we live with different seasons than you. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
No, that's interesting. But no, I mean, and kind of pivoting back to the COVID, and I don't like to talk about it a lot, but I mean, the reality of it is that it's affecting us, and I'm interested to hear how different people are coping with it, because I don't think fear is the answer. It is scary. I know a lot of businesses, especially here in Fredericton, and I imagine St. John and Moncton as well. But I know of like 3 or 4 that have already shut down permanently here in Fredericton.
Yeah.
And so it's very concerning for people. So I like your approach of being aware and being careful.
Yeah, and I mean, the government is stepping in and they're trying to help or whatever, but it's funny because there's people that there seems to be no in between. There's either utter devastation where there's like, I mean, there's just zero income. And then there's other people that nothing's changed except their home. Their pay still comes. And so, you know, you feel bad for some people because they're affected deeply by it. And there's other people that they're just not. It's just a thing, and you know, we got to do this and move on to the next thing. So we're getting such a range of
It's kind of
everything in between.
Yeah. There's not really we're kind of okay. It's like it's usually one or the other.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Well, I guess to kind of finish up, if you could kind of give tips for anybody who's looking to get into the paving business or who is in it, things that you would recommend. I know you haven't put much thought into it maybe, but just kind of from your experience.
Yeah. I guess everybody's feeling it. Even on the site there, people are feeling it. Was the people. I mean, people are having a hard time getting people. We're having a hard time attracting people into this business. There's been some good people in the business that people chase away from the business because just from bad management or bad handling of people. And so what it'll come down to at the end of the day, I've said it right from the get-go, and I've just said it over and over, like, we all have the same pavers, we all have the same equipment, but the success will come with the difference of people, who you have in people. And there's people that will invest in the people, and there's some people, they're just a number to them, like same as a piece of equipment. So I think that's the biggest variable that people can't get their head around. And if you can do that, you can probably be successful. But if you don't get that, then you probably should just, you probably just should stay with you, and somebody else is probably, you know, if you're going to grow bigger than that, if you don't like people, you're probably in the wrong, business. Yeah.
Right. No, that's awesome. I think that's a great way to close out. I really appreciate your time. What I'll do is I'll just end the recording here, and then we can pop out and just close up.
Okay.
Hop off. But I really appreciate you hopping on here, giving me. I learned a couple new things, which I always appreciate. So thanks for your time, and hopefully this adds value to people.
All right. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.